A viewer requested a twin flames natal charts analysis. That's what we're going to do. Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I'm Gat, your host. First thing we want to do is the person on the left is a person who requested it, the female. The person on the left is the male. We're going to see if they're twins, twin flames, twin souls. So we didn't have his time. So I did ask Archangels, and it was a beautiful appearing of a lot of feminine energy. Now, when I see that for a man, that usually means he's really sensitive towards women. So that's a good thing. So Ariel was the first card pulled, which is, she said prosperity, but that's Aries, the first house, so that would be 1. Chamiel was the second house, the second card pulled, and it is also the second house. He says peace. Peace comes from remembering that only love is real. He has the dove in his hand. And even the dove can be symbolism of the divine feminine. And that's Taurus. So that's 1, 2, the second house. Ariel said your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. Third card pulled was Raphael with the rose in her hand, and that's Libra, or the 7th house. It says outdoors. Go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. So Jophiel is Libra, the 7th house, or relationships. So that's 127. See, a lot of feminine cards, a lot of feminine energy, a lot of presence of the divine feminine with this gentleman. And that's the good thing. And then the final card, which is your moon card, Hanael, because she's the high priestess and the angel card. So that's the moon. So that's PM, 1:27 p.m. You don't just look at the time, but you look at the message that they're giving as well. And this is the most beautiful card, highly romantic card. Hanael says sensitivity. You are currently sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. So that was very good. So just from that alone, I know this guy is a romantic and has genuine concern for the woman in his life. And that's what the card, that's the main thing the cards want you to know. So she will get a free report to help you understand astrology. It's a free report. Help you understand the 12 houses of astrology, how the archangels, the 15 archangels, correlate, and just a lot of information regarding astrology and how it applies to people's lives. So I'm looking at the numerology between the two. Between the sun sign, moon sign, ascendant, medium coeli. And I'm looking at the numerology. And we'll talk more about it on the chart itself. Now, just so everybody knows, on the second chart to your right, you see Taurus. Now, that number is 25. So the Saturn retrograde is number 25. But now we're going to go into her first house, which is Pisces. So first house is ruled by Aries, and the sign there is Pisces. So this is going to be a highly intuitive, or highly spiritual person. And that's the main thing you're going to take from her first house. But now, in her second house, it's about money and possession. But it's a lot of it, and you see the number 4 a lot in the second house. So this is a very interesting house. So we're going to look at Mars in the second house, but we're going to take our time. In fact, now when you see that little wavy, that's an asteroid in the second house. Where you see the ram's horns, that's Aries. So that wavy asteroid is Vesta. Now, she can deal with sex, but she also deals with healing. She works with Virgo. She deals with a lot of energy. So this is the house where this person would have to make sure you're taking breaks, because otherwise you're going to burn yourself out or get sick. But Vesta can mean fire. She can also mean anywhere where there's fire or energy, and also anywhere where there's small containment, like an elevator. Small compartments. So just to let you know, the second house is always going to be about the money, finances, and possessions, and how you value things. But I think that the main thing you want to look at is Mars opposite Venus in the second house. I'm sorry, I should say Mars conjunct Venus. But you really want it in the second house, but we'll take it if they don't give us the second house part. Alright, so they really don't want to give it to us that way. So what we're going to learn about is Mars. Well, then let's do Aries in the second house first. Let's just do Aries in the second house. Alright, there's a website I haven't seen before. It's called soultrek.com. Aries on crust of second house. So I'm just going to see what they say. Usually when that happens, there's a special message for that person. Because you never saw it before. So it's usually a message for this person. Aries on the second house. Aries in the second house is a soultrek.com. There's a strong tendency to be active and even aggressive in achieving your financial security. Although expenditures may at times keep pace with your personal income. You have an inclination for impulse buying or going on sudden sprees that needs to be controlled. And I think that Mars is there. See, Venus is there because she has a passion for that. And Venus is about, she likes nice stuff. She wants to have a light stuff. Because Venus is the diplomacy, the love, the fun, the the forgiveness, the beauty, but also the finance. So she really wants to go. And I really believe, just in my heart and soul, that if you try to stop her, you're going to have a problem. Like, you're going to have a problem. Like, you might as well get ready to duke it out. Because she's not going to let you. If she wants to get something, she's not really going to try to hear you talking about a budget. And she's not going to really try to hear you trying to tell her to be sensible. She wants it, and that's the way it is. It says you have an inclination for impulse buying or going on sudden sprees that needs to be controlled, especially if it upsets budget planning. Hard work is usually not a problem when you expect a good return on your efforts, and you like to be sure the job gets done as fast as possible. You could build a good financial base through various industries with emphasis on construction, working with mechanical principles or devices. And that could even be, when they say that, it could even be military devices or anything that's even exercise equipment, because that's what Mars is about, all that. It says architectural drafting or machinery or one form of another. Occupations that would favor a nice salary might include police. And again, whenever you got Mars there, just like they're saying, police, military, firefighting, munitions, manufacture, and even associations with the woolen industry. So now you kind of understand why they have Mars there. And Venus and Aries is definitely going to have to do with Venus in the second house, a person who likes really nice things. Yeah, we'll go back. We'll see. All right, this is myastrologybook.com. I just want to see what they say. The second house describes both inner and outer resources. We draw on emotional and mental inner resources in dealing with the situations in which life presents us. These assess our sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Our outer resources are our finances and physical possessions, movable property that we own as opposed to real estate. These assets form our sense of security. Some of us identify with what we own, others with what we are. They both, however, are what we value, and we attract to us what we value. Thus, the second house is where we build in true value and our power of attraction. Planets here show how and what we are attached and the degree of our possessiveness. Classically speaking, this house also symbolizes our strongest desires and the manner in which we meet our obligations. Isabel Hickey said that the house describes that which the life is dedicated to redeem, and thus related to one's peace of mind. She says Venus is the natural ruler of the second house. The real truth is Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house, but Venus rules Taurus. So that's what he really means. And as you notice, Chamuel did show up for Taurus. And Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And Libra did show up with Jophiel and when we asked about the time. Venus is the okay, so they're saying if Venus is in your second house, is very well placed there. With Venus in your second house, you're able to attract money and material resources, and your personal magnetism is very strong. Just like I said, comfort, pleasure, things of the senses, art, and that which is fine and beautiful are important to you. You usually have them. Physically sensuous, you love to luxuriate in material comfort and all that pleasures your senses. You have a discriminating palate, refined sensibility, and are considerably lucky. So you probably got a good relationship with Jupiter as well. All right. See, the reason why they put, and I said that before, but it was kind of like a military situation. But see, Vesta's put there, and see how Vesta's in between? Because you got the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And so Vesta comes in between. I've seen that before. Vesta's job is to keep the peace. Because you got the divine masculine represented by Mars. Could be like a really, especially Mars with Aries, it's like ruthless aggression. Like not non-stop. And then you got Venus who wants what she wants when she wants it. So to avoid that passive aggressive stuff, she steps in Vesta to say slow down, even though she's still energy, because she's energy too, so she can cause problems too. So this second house is a lot, just to let you know. It's probably some sexual connotation there as well, but it's a lot. So let's just see. Let's just do Vesta. We'll do Vesta first. I put Vesta in the signs to see what's happening. I'm really looking for Bob Mark astrologer. All right, but they gave me some new ones. So I'm gonna put this on pause. I'll be back. Okay, and just so everybody knows, now this is definitely a twin flames natal charts analysis, but I always get the whole natal chart because this is your predictive prophecy for life. A lot of your questions from life will be on your chart, so that's why I always give it that way so that you have it. And I just did a natal charts analysis, and definitely could see that they were soulmates. These two people that I just did, they definitely were soulmates. They definitely had a purpose. But I personally was not able to see whether they were twins or not. I couldn't say that. Because sometimes you'll have a great relationship with your soulmate, but not that good of a relationship with your twin. So I do state that when you can see it. And then, sometimes the people know. Sometimes the people know. Sometimes you can clearly see it on the chart. And other times you can just tell these guys are here for karmic reasons, soul debts, things like that. But we'll get into it as we go through the charts. All right, just give me a moment. We're looking at Vesta. All right, I want to leave this. Let me see. All right, this is over with. Give me a second. I just saw somebody with my twin's name. Let me just say I want to see the messages because my twin's higher self is always showing me messages. If you just says conjunct Sun and Scorpio, it says May 22nd. The twin flame number is 22nd. May 22nd or 5/22, 2012 at 2:23 p.m. See what I'm saying? That's a twin flame message. See how she keeps saying 22? Because that's a twin flame number. So let me show y'all this. And it's also 119 at the time because we always see that number 119. That's 9/11 and 11/9. All right. All right, so we're gonna keep going. I just opened up a lot of windows, but unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is just like on and on talking, but they're not really answering the question. Vest in Aries, bravery, courage, and impetuosity. In other words, the person's impetuous. And are characteristics of this flaw, of this Vesta. Vesta in Aries shows others the wisdom of self-care and is a powerful energy for self-healing. Requires independence and may have difficulty with long-term relationships. Indicates a degree of self-involvement, the warrior priestess. And that's why I said military, police, even like exercise, like exercise, bodybuilding, exercise guru. Because this is the money house, this is how she's making the money. Vesta in Aries, work motivation arises when one expresses their independence and uses their own individuality. They work best by themselves as they like to be their own leader. And that's what Aries is all about. Can become alienated if they become way too self-centered. Retaining individual power and a strong identity are an important sexual need. Because I told you it could be about sex in this second house. Now, Mars conjunct Venus and see what happens. And see, your house is ruled by Taurus. That second house is an extremely sensual house. So that's why I said it's massages. It could be exercise. It could be something gym related, health spa related. It goes on and goes on. Your relationship with your parents will determine your attitudes towards the opposite sex in marriage, for better or for worse, which means we have to look at her fourth house when we get there. That's the family house. And your mother house. And sometimes your father is in the fourth house, but sometimes your father's in the 10th house. It just all depends when we get there. Normally, this gives a harmonious blending of active and passive, that's what I said, passive aggression, energies, and makes you sensitive and loving unless both planets are under severe stress. Drive is generally expressed constructively. This aspect is an asset when it comes to relating to the public, and is said to give luck in financial matters. Because that's why I said prosperity was the first card that came up, which was Aries. And that's what we're looking at right now. See, like I said, when people are humble, the cards know what they're doing. And that's why I say, don't. I'm just like a messenger at the end of the day. You'll have people that take stuff personal, get mad at me. You got to learn how to just be patient and listen, work with you. These are angels working with you. This is all spirit. And they're giving you great information, but you have to be patient to receive the information they're giving you. The conjunction can be very dramatic from sign to sign. It tends to give you valuable insight into your earliest dealings with the opposite sex, including dealing with your opposite sex parent, siblings, and peers. You have very strong emotions. Because of their intensity, you find it hard to treat relationships lightly. Everything, even the smallest gesture, has importance to you. So that's like if you hand somebody a pencil and they give you some intimate look or whatever, like what the heck, all I did was hand you a pencil and shit. And they're looking at you like, thank you, and they're way too nice. Which would be nice. It would be nice if the real, if people were just nice people, but like I'm in Jersey, it's not like that. So if you hand somebody a pencil and they look at you like really serious, like thank you or something, you're like, uh-oh, another psycho. Doo-doo-doo-doo. That's the Twilight Zone music. Okay, this is true in most all relationships. It's especially true when it comes to sex and romance. If there are problems in your love life, it could be because you're being too pushy or becoming on too strong. And you know what? I can only speak for myself. But some people might not mean pushy if you mean it. But if you're just pushy because you just want to get what you want, that's gonna be a turn off. So if you're trying to push yourself into somebody's life, try to show them that you're serious about it, not just playing games. This aspect stimulates affections in ways that causes you to want an all-consuming, forever type relationship. But funnily enough, it also gives flirtatious streak that continues even after you've entered into a satisfying relationship. So you would have to get used to that. But again, that could be communication. Because here's a person who really wants a real relationship. They really want to be in a long-term relationship, but they still want to flirt with other people. And you know what? If they have understanding, there's nothing wrong with it. Because my Kenyan flirted right in front of my face. I got used to it. I hated it at first. Then I just got used to it. That's just the way she was. So communications can get past that. But you got to communicate. You can't just say, well, that's just the way I am. You can't take that viewpoint because you're bullying. You're trying to force something on this other person that they may not like. And the only reason why they're getting so upset is because they actually care about you. So when you communicate, you get past that. When you don't communicate, you're headed for a lot of trouble in your relationship. Even if you two stick together, it's going to be some type of infidelity. And I'm not just talking to this chart. I'm talking to anybody listening. I think that people with this aspect feel that it's especially important to remain desirable, not just to a mate or lover, but to the opposite sex in general. As the conjunction is a uniting aspect, and Venus and Mars are the male and female principles, respectively, you might think, as I once did, that it's a portent of a lasting marriage. From my studies, I've learned that it isn't the case. While people with this aspect want a lasting relationship very, very badly, they suffer their fair share of squabbles and separation. Yeah, because you got Mars and Aries, so you know it's going to be powerful. But I'm still going to say it comes a point when you have to learn how to communicate. Because Aries is always going to be somewhat of an immature energy because it's all about Aries. I am. That's their motto. I am. And then you got Mars that wants to be a bully, wants to just push their way into your life. So that person has got to learn a little bit of consideration for other people and how to talk your way through things and not just assume it's going to go the way you want it to go, because that's what's causing the separations and the breakups and the infidelities. There's a difference between this aspect and the square and opposition, though. Okay, we're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about the square opposition because she doesn't have that. She has the conjunct, Venus conjunct Mars. So we're not going to talk about that because that's how it gets confusing. All right. So that is your second house. So let's do Mars in the second house. All right, so let me see. Just give me a little Okay, so this guy, I didn't even ask for this information, but that's why I like my astrology book, because he's giving some important information. Although Mars and Venus embody opposite qualities, they are alike in their sensuality and passion. But where Venus is the unifying principle of attraction, Mars is the divisive, scattering principle of out-thrusting energy, separating one thing from another. It is the active force of the individual ego in the world, expressing the separate self and fighting for its rights. Mars symbolizes the human libido, not mere sexualized energy, but human energy, pure and simple, the chi, C-H-I. It represents how you go after what you want, your drive and energy to be active, your sexual and aggressive urges, ego, individuality, survival, initiative, motivation, courage, conflict, force, vigor, mechanical ability, competition, sports, competitiveness, and war. It is the energy behind your feelings, whatever they are, and thus represents passion. In the physical body, it rules the muscles, male genitalia, red corpuscles, nose, and the excretory tract. Mars in your chart is where your energy is directed and released, and where you have strife, discord, and tension if not handled properly. In the female chart, it represents her image of male energy. So they said you was going to have a certain thing regarding your father. How you view your whole second house, that male energy and all that, is how you related with your father. So you have to remember that. Because I don't know yet. I'm just getting to your chart. But if you had a great relationship with your dad, then your second house is going to go a little bit better, because you're not going to mind so much a man in that area. But if you didn't have a great relationship with your dad, it's going to be World War III in your second house. And I already said that when I saw Mars, because she's going to want to go on a shopping spree, and the guy's going to be like, hey, we got these bills to pay. And she's going to be like, no, you don't tell me what to do. You're not my father. And it's kind of funny, because wait a minute, did you even have a great relationship with your father? Why would you even say that? But that's what it's going to boil down to. So that's what's going on there. Any aspect between Venus and Mars in your chart shows how you relate to the opposite sex and your instinctual sense of when to be aggressive or passive. Because I know if we go back to the first time that he got to see that out of you. Because I know it probably shook him up a little bit. Because he probably never saw your Mars size in the second house. I don't know if he has seen it yet. But he probably wide. You know how you see something and your eyes get really wide because you didn't expect it? But that probably should. Because you learn, I better just let her shop. I just better keep my mouth shut. He said Mars' original symbol was an upside-down Venus. This signifies the subjugation of spirit by matter, or the primacy of the desires of the flesh over higher expectations. With Mars, the need to be an individual is more important than the need to relate to be part of mankind. That's why Mars in Aries is not good for anything that has to do with you need other people or have to relate to other people, because you're going to be pushing that dominance. Men are indeed martial, and women are Venusian. Men are for Mars, women are for Venus. Thank the Lord and pass the ammunition. You see what he said? He said, thank the Lord and pass the ammunition. So get ready for it. So I was right what I said. Just don't debate with her over anything having to do with finances or beauty or cosmetics or wanting to travel or spending up money or getting clothes. Because you're going to see a totally different female. Alright, so that answered my question. Because that's what I saw. But I wanted to make sure. See, I like to get second opinions. Just so people don't think I'm just out here just giving my own opinion on what I think. Alright, so that's your first and second house. Now, your third house, Taurus. Why is Taurus in your third house? Because they're showing you again that you're going... See, well, let me just explain your third house. It's ruled by Gemini. It's short travel, creativity, earlier education, siblings and environments. Can even be family, communications, thought, and also anything with multitasking. And it can have things to do with more than one person because that's what the twins are. Some form of partnership. But in twin flame relationships, Gemini represents the initial stages where the guys are arguing and breaking up. And with Taurus there, it's reinforcing what I said about the second house. Now this Gemini could be a sensual Gemini because Taurus is like sensitive, sensual, and they like touchy-feely type stuff. They like massages, especially in the 5th house or anything where there's going to be love making. But it's also about money, possessions, and how you value these things and how they make you feel about yourself. So we're learning one thing. Remember I told you guys to communicate? That's why Chiron is there. Because this is your communication house, house number 3 with Gemini, the communicator, because his ruling sign is Mercury. So they're basically trying to tell you if you guys talk about that second house stuff, that Taurus stuff, you can get through it. But you just can't assume this is just the way I am and I don't have to explain myself. Anybody in a relationship, you have to get over that. You know, you're in a relationship. That's the whole thing. Relate, not dictate. Because if you want to dictate, that means you need to be single. So then you can do whatever you want with whoever you want. And if it doesn't work out, so what? But when you're in a relationship, there's a form of commitment that is there, no matter how serious or not serious, but you owe that person that. Now, this woman has 9 all in her chart, so you have, that's your number. You have 9 a lot. A lot, like unbelievable. She has so many 9s. And remember, that 9th hour is special with Jesus, because she's also a sun sign Pisces. Whenever you see a sun sign Pisces, you're going to have a metaphysical, supernatural connection to the Messiah, especially when you see the sun sign Pisces. That's almost like saying the son of God. Just like if you see the moon sign Virgo, that's just like saying Mother Mary. So she's got a couple, well, I see the number 22 at least once on her chart. And that's for Mercury. So it goes back to your 3rd house because Mercury rules your Gemini, which is your 3rd house. So we're still gonna look at Taurus in the 3rd house, but right now I'm gonna look at that number 9. But you're gonna have to give me a second because I have to pull it up. And I don't want to go to angel numbers because they're very positive, and sometimes you need like a wider viewpoint of the number. And we may go to angel numbers later, but just not yet. Now this is BillHydrick.com. We're going to the number 9. It says a coiling serpent, but a serpent is not always bad, because even Jesus called himself a serpent in John chapter 3. And even when Moses threw his rod down, it became a serpent that ate up Pharaoh's serpents in Exodus 7. But the serpent can also be healing. It means to be strong, a powerful one, to be hollow. And in the Bible, when you see the word hollow, whether it's H-O-L-L-O-W or H-A-L-L-O-W, it's talking about the divine womb. Because that's where everything came from, the divine womb. Now watch this. Water, skin, leather bottle, the hollow belly. See, the belly is all about the womb and pregnancy. And that's why when Jesus was dying at the 9th hour, what they were showing you were the end of a particular age and the beginning of another one. And that's why they said, let Elias come. Let Elias come, because Elias comes at the end of the age. To light, to heat. And when you study the Bible, that's what happens at the end of the age. The light comes back, the light returns, and it does come back with heat or fire. They even call it the furnace. See, I'm just showing you the metaphysics in your chart. It's important to know that. Brother, friend, kinsman, one of the same tribe, a fellow countryman, a confederate, an ally, a neighbor, a fellow man, a fellow, or a match. Oh, alas, fire stove or pot, howling. Now it's funny because in Rosa, she said ha with an exclamation point. Now on your number 9, it goes with an exclamation point. And again, I'm getting this information from BillHydrick.com, and it's the number 9. And I'm going to save the page. Give me 1 second. You're going to hear it. And I'm going to throw that in this chart as well, so you'll see it somewhere in the chart. See, I've learned everything is connected. You just have to be patient and watch for it. And everybody has different gifts. And even the Grox 1 tells you the same thing. Everything is connected. All right, so you see this number 9, and you see alas. All right. Firm pupil of the eye. And again, you got the eye, everything. When I was with somebody named Iris for 8 years. But then when I worked at the job where I met my twin, it was her. They were both the same ethnic background. And it was Iris and my twin, whose name is Rosa. And her name was Iris. It was a different Iris, though. But this is how the universe talks to you. Because what the universe was trying to tell me was later on in life that woman would become my wife, the Rosa. But later on, because she was just too immature, and there was no chance to communicate or nothing. So there was no way that was going to work. But that's the Gemini stages. All right. Now, to cover, to conceal, to act covertly, deceit, cheat. Now, let's look back so far. And that starts right off with your East Point. In fact, your East Point, if you notice, you see 9, 11, and you see 19. And I just got finished telling you I see 1, 9, 11, 19, 11, 19. So you have the same thing on your chart. So you're seeing 1, 9, 11. You're seeing 1, 1, 9 on your chart. Covering, clothing, outer garment, concealment, treachery, rapine. So you have to be very, very careful, because you don't want stuff like that on your chart, especially if you're in some type of relationship. Cause like I said, I won't know nothing about this guy until I read his chart, but I know the Archangel spoke very highly of him, and that's not always the case. I want you to know that every man doesn't get that type of respect from the Archangels. And in cases like that, you have to be careful, because it might not be this person. It could be talking about the twin. But if you see all those 9s and this is what it's saying, you got to be very careful. Covering, clothing, outer garment, concealment, treachery, rapine. To enter, to despise, spoil, plunder, to sprout, grow up, rise, be high, exalted, majestic, to be haughty, to be deep, hollow, pride, ungodly, the back, body, the middle, mist, exile, shout, cry. But it says of joy, shout or cry of joy. So that's number 9 according to Bill Heiderich. All right, give me a moment. I will continue. So you'll find out when you do these charts, you'll get a lot of help. Like my twin's higher self is nothing but love. She's always helping me and showing me stuff. Always. And you know, that's why I said it was just sad. But that's my advice I give to people. Don't be so quick to respond. Like, if nobody's treating you disrespectfully, there's no reason to respond that way. And what happens is, like, a lot of times the universe will send you something wonderful, but you're so caught up in this third dimensional BS thinking that you miss out. Like, it could be a nice guy, but oh, I'd rather not have a nice guy. He seems he seems like a mama's boy, or he's too nice, or I like thugs. So you won't give the universe a chance. And I try to tell people, what's going to kill? Is it going to kill you to go out on one date with a person? Because you'd be surprised what might happen on that one date once you put the third dimensional defense down. You'd be surprised, but you don't give it a chance, and then you might find out later on that was the one. That was the one you were looking for, and you just totally disrespected this person, or you burned so many bridges. It's gonna be hard to get anything back. Now we're gonna look at the number 119. Son of my sorrows, Lord of the flies, Beelzebub, name of a Philistine god. Tear, to be set or placed, to taste or relish, to understand, to perceive, to cause, to taste, to feel, to feed, taste, flavor, discernment, decision, decree, a decree, relish, reason, account, edict, to besmear, to lay on, to charge, impute. A planting, plant, a cake, to be slender or thin, keen or sharp, be small or few, to become few, to grow small, diminish, slight or trivial, become few, little, few, small, errors or wrongs, tailwind, how long, a station or resting place. All right. Now we are going to go to angel numbers now. We're just going to sum up the two numbers. So number 9 is a number of universal love, eternity, faith, universal spiritual law, karma, spiritual enlightenment, spiritual awakening, service to humanity, humanitarianism, light working and light workers, leading by positive example, philanthropy, and the philanthropist, clarity, self-sacrifice, selflessness, destiny, sole purpose and mission, generosity, higher perspectives, romance, inner strength, public relationships, intuition, strength of character, learning to say no so that people don't take advantage of you or you don't burn yourself out, creativity, abilities, sensitivity, loyalty, inner wisdom, problem solving, empathy, self-love, freedom, popularity, high ideas, optimism, divine wisdom. So number 9 means that it's a sign from your angels that your life path and soul mission involves being of service to humanity through the use of your natural skills and talent. Number 9 suggests that you are a natural light worker and encourages you to look to ways to serve others in a positively uplifting way. Angel number 9 may be indicating that it's time to end a phase, situation, or relationship that is no longer serving you in a positive way. Rest assured that new will enter into your life that will embrace and benefit your life and lifestyle in many ways. Prepare yourself today as there is much work to do. Angel number 9 encourages you to be compassionate, thoughtful, philanthropic, and of service to others and humanity as a whole, to lead others by positive example. So like I said, in 9 is usually a number of ending, and then something else beginning. So it says universal spiritual laws. So we're going to read what some of those universal spiritual laws are. Universal laws are rules or patterns that can be applied to everything in the universe. It is useful and important to know these laws simply because of the universality of their application. Got the basic law of life, the law of attraction, the basic laws of life, the law of attraction, the laws of request, laws of resistance, laws of reflection, laws of projection, the laws of attachment. The law of attention, it's a whole lot of laws. I'm not reading all these laws, but it's a whole lot of laws. Wow, they actually got 4 different sets of laws. That's interesting. All right, now we're going to go back to the index and look at the number 119. Angel number 119 is a message from your angels that the positive energies you have been sending out are now being returned in kind, and you are being well blessed by the universe. Your angels prompt you to keep your thoughts and aspirations high and expect to see success on all levels. Focus upon your life path and soul mission, and we will be talking about that on your chart. And your personal spirituality will grow and flourish. Listen to the promptings of your soul and be grateful for the wonderful blessings in your life. Angel number 119 is a message from your angels that a phase or situation in your life is coming to an end. So that's what they're telling you. That's why you requested your natal chart at the exact time you should get it. And that your goals have almost come to completion. Remember that as one door closes, another is opening. So remain positive throughout these transitions and look forward to wonderful new beginnings and auspicious opportunities. These new opportunities will prove to enhance your life and that of others. Now, angel number 119 reminds you that self-help is often the best remedy. Because a lot of people don't like to do that, but that's the best thing you can do. I had to learn that because I'm very proud Leo. And I was raised a certain way. And like my mother meant well, but almost everything she showed me about career and God broke down. And it took a long time. It took a long time before. That's why I said a lot of stuff about my twin, but as far as becoming more metaphysical, more spiritual, I owe that to her. Because it was a total breakdown. Total breakdown of everything. And then rebuilding in spirit and rebuilding metaphysically. Angel number 19 reminds you that self-help is often the best remedy, and your angels love and support you in your quest to help yourself and others lead happier and healthier lives. Have a positive and optimistic attitude about your life purpose and soul mission. Know that your destiny is yours to fulfill, and the angels give you guidance and support along the way. You are encouraged to shed love and light on humanity. It says you are encouraged to shed love and light on humanity. I'm going to change that to you are encouraged to shine love and light on humanity. If you have the urge to begin a new career, which entails serving humanity, angel number 119 may be a good message to begin a spiritually based practice and or profession. Trust that you will need your needs will be provided by the angels and the universal energy in divine right time, and often in the most miraculous way. So that's what Aries is telling you, first house, and that's where your Pisces is, and she promises you prosperity. So you got it doesn't matter who you said. Well, the question was, what is his time? Yep, but you may have asked what his time was, and the angels answered. But when the angels answered, they were talking to both of you. You got to understand they're a lot smarter than us. And a lot of times they'll tell you what you need to hear. They won't always tell you what you ask. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. But that's love. That's what love will really do. And the more you learn to submit to the angels, the better off you'll be. Take it from me. I'm coming straight out of Jersey. I was not a happy camper when I got introduced to all this stuff. I was not a happy camper. And I definitely was like challenging these angels at every step. Until I finally realized they really do know what they're doing. And that's why when people get upset over something, oh, you said it was this, but it's really that. But maybe they said it for a reason. Find out. Don't overreact. Because even in the scriptures, people were given like information that didn't come out initially. Because sometimes you just look at it like a test. That's the best way. Just to see if you're going to hang in there or you're going to get all upset and go all third dimensional and give up. So you get like tests. Your employer will do it to it. A female might do it to a man. A man might do it to a female. It's just going to see what you're made of. Can you humbly and patiently get through a situation? You're going to be crying and, oh, you said this, but it's that. And it's quite obvious that person's not going to, no matter what you tell them, they're going to find a reason to find something negative about it. All right, so we did the 9, we did 11, 11, 19. All the way to your third house. Okay, so we want to do Taurus and Gemini. Because you got Chiron there. But Chiron is about healing. Just so you know. In fact, Chiron and the signs. Now, I'm really looking for Bob Mark Astrologer. But this is Trans4Mind. Trans4Mind.com. Chiron is going to bring out the fullest potential to teach, to unlock, to find what is essential, to reconcile opposites, because that's what you got going on in your second house. To heal holistically. Chiron and Taurus. Enduring and possessive, because that's Taurus. You need to bring about the fullest potential in relationship to the enduring and possessive way in which you deal with possessions and wealth generally. So he's going to tell you the just same thing I already told you. You got to communicate. Because you're going to have a problem in that second house. And it goes back to your dad, your relationship primarily with your dad. And this poor guy, he doesn't know what the heck's going to hit him. That would have been like a camera moment. Because that in my opinion, that might have been the first time, if it's happened already. But that would have been the first time he got to see like your little psycho side was in that area, the second house. Like I said, it could be that you are too possessive or that you do not allow yourself to be possessed. So you gotta find out, because you don't let no guy possess you. I mean, like, I'm cooler. Like I'm built for a relationship, so I have no problem with like a woman in my life like looking through my shit or nothing, as long as I can do it to her. Like, if she don't want me doing it to her, then she shouldn't do it to me, and I think that's fair. So I don't have a problem with a female that's like possessive. I don't, but only if it's real. Like, what I have a problem with is fake, phony frauds. Like somebody's trying to bully you, but they don't do the same thing. They don't extend the same common courtesy. So then I have a problem with that, because that person's a hypocrite. And the relationship would be like a power control, and I don't get involved with stuff like that. But that's each person's different. But otherwise, don't allow somebody to possess you, because you're not a possession. You are a human being. But at the same time, you can't be possessive, and nor can you just keep taking advantage of this poor guy who's trying to be faithful to you, if that's the case, and you're caught up in all this other stuff. The solution lies within the problem. It is the other side of the problem. You may find the solution lies in helping others deal with their possessions. You may need to approach the problem in a practical and cautious manner using common sense, which is Earth. Because the reason when they wrote Earth, because Taurus is an Earth sign. So that's what you'll be dealing with. They're telling you to communicate, get through that healing, use communication, get through that healing so that whatever problems you have in the second house, you can actually. Because sometimes things will happen and you'll let it go. Like people will let it go. And you should have talked to that person later on the phone or something. But you should have said, I just want to let you know what happened. If you want to talk about it, I want to talk about it. But I just want you to know bad. But you're trying to show the person that this isn't going to be an ongoing thing. And I really want this relationship to work. And, we all got things to work on. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you talk. But if you don't talk, this person's saying, wow, she really bugged out. We were going shopping. And all I said was one thing. And she flipped out on me. But it's deeper than the clothes. It's deeper than the money. Like I said, it goes back to the father. All right. So that's Chiron and Taurus. So those are your first 3 houses. 1, 2, 3. And you're calling. Well, Ariel's trying to help you see that you got a lot of prosperity coming, but you got to become more psychic, maybe more spiritual. So that's what's going on in your first house. And that has to take priority over anything earthly. All right, now we're going to pause this. I'll be back. All right, we're going to continue. All right, now the 4th house deals with your family, young adult to adult education, real estate, land and property, ancestors, the heart, vehicles and travel, and whoever raised you in a motherly capacity when you were young. That's called the Imon Quelli. That'll be in your subconscious forever in this lifetime. So as you see, it's nothing there in the 4th house except for Gemini. So that's what we look at, Gemini in the 4th house. All right, this will be astrologyclub.org. The foundation of your personal private persona and life is built upon your ideas, thoughts, knowledge, and your communication and expression of them. Unlike most people, having a lot going on around you makes you feel at home. With that a lot to keep your mind occupied around you, you are bored, and you may find yourself creating situations to learn and gather knowledge. And they say others may call it causing trouble. Yeah, because it's somebody who just starts stuff because they don't want to be bored or whatever, so they just start stuff. Sometimes this placement manifests as a need to bring stability to a mentally overstimulating environment, but usually it indicates a need for that busyness. Your home environment nurtures you, encourages you your often overactive Gemini mind. This is the house where we influence and affect others, where we can help others find meaning, direction, and purpose to life. Gemini in the fourth house again emphasizes the fact that through this disseminating knowledge, by being a messenger of the gods, so to speak, that Gemini could be most instrumental in bringing the knowledge to others, whereby they can understand their own purpose in life, what direction they should go into, and where each individual can find his meaning in life. Of course, it is most important that Gemini finds these things for himself. Since the fourth house is the house of the home, on a mundane level, it does emphasize the need for roots for Gemini. Now, to most people, roots usually are characterized by home, family, relatives, the nation, this sort of thing. Actually, Gemini has the ability to find his roots and establish a constructive manner through which he can influence and affect others. The personality of the home of the soul. The personality is the home of the soul. The auric field which surrounds the body is also home within itself, and whatever is registered in the auric field can have a subtle influence on those who come to a person's sphere of influence. Those who come into a person's sphere of influence. This is something that Gemini should recognize as a medium through which he can influence and affect others. Because Cancer is a natural ruler of the fourth house, Gemini in the fourth house will be one of the channels through which we can develop the feeling aspect. It's not that Gemini does not feel, but it finds it difficult to demonstrate affection, especially when Gemini is involved with concentrative activities or involved in some mental pursuit, being able to shut out the world. Because I could do that. My ascendant is a Gemini. He gives the appearance of being cold. This fourth house location of the sign of Gemini could assist in bringing about more of an ability to demonstrate feeling aspects. Karmically speaking, it could also point out that there should be more of a parental approach for the Gemini, caring for others. And this can best be illustrated by helping Gemini being concerned that other people do find meaning, direction, and purpose in life. So yeah, the fourth house, again, is ruled by Cancer. It can be nurturing. It should be nurturing. And again, it's ruled by the moon, so it's supposed to have a motherly, nurturing aspect to it. But Gemini tends to be a thinker, not necessarily really good with the emotions. But see, that could be making a big statement. Because if you're watching how this is being done, it gave you Taurus in the third house. That's ruled by Gemini, and then Taurus also rules the second house. So they definitely got some Taurus issues there. And right now it's not enough to say it, but possibly they had some type of energy in the family that put too much emphasis on Taurus stuff. Value, possessions, finances, being possessive, putting value on people instead of treating people like people with feelings, putting value on them. And so now we had this person in the second house that has to incorporate other people's feelings and things like that into their pursuit for possessions and money and life. And that's where problems can possibly rise. Now I'm just looking at a couple of things. I want to look at your don't mind me, I'm just looking at a couple of things. Anytime I see any type of synchronicity, I look into it. All right, give me a moment. Interesting. All right. Okay, so this gentleman's sun sign, I'll take that back. His ascendant is 1220 at Aquarius. Now, in this article I just read, it says 1220. Under January 31st, 2015. Which is Aquarius. So there's no coincidences. Nothing's accidental or coincidental. Now my best friend in California, I have a few best friends, but she's one of my oldest best friends. That's when she was born, 1220. So first I want to copy this before I forget so everybody can see it. So give me a moment. So now we're going to look at That number 1220. All right, just give me a moment. This is BillHydrick.com. Number 2020. The number 1220 says thoughts or plans. But then you want to do angel numbers. Number 1220. Angel number 1220 is a message from your angels and archangels that you are to stay focused on your highest expectation as the angels and universal energies work behind the scenes, helping you to manifest your wants, needs, goals, and desires. Trust that your home and family will be well provided for if you strive toward achieving your goals. Angel number 1220 is a powerful sign that you are to step out of your comfort zone and take new directions and or begin new projects and ventures that interest you. Angel number 1220 encourage you to release your fears and apprehensions and get on with pursuing your passions and life purpose. Angel number 1220 asks you to ensure that you put out to the universe, that all you put out to the universe is of a positive and uplifting nature. Your angels ask that you stay on positive paths and use your natural skills, talents, and abilities to their utmost to the benefit of yourself and others. Use affirmations and visualizations to enhance positive energies and draw them towards you. The more you focus on the positives, the quicker they are manifested into your reality. Do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and into the direction of your desires, passions, and purpose. So that was a message to the Aquarius with the 1220. Thoughts and plans. Keep your thoughts positive, have intentions and affirmations, and to manifest these, and then these thoughts will come into reality. Alright, so your true north node, where you see looks like a horseshoe at 125. But if you notice, it's taking that family energy. Really, it's right at the. It's not on the border, but it's so close to it. So it's taking that family energy into your fifth house. So they want you to be able to have fun with family, because the fifth house is all about fun, travel, romance. And when it's family, it can be the person you're in a relationship with, or your twin flame, your twin soul. But it can also be the family you were born into. So this is fun, travel, children, taking risk, adventure, childbearing, creativity, entertainment, because this can even be a music family. Now that little circle with the X, all that does is amplify. That's the part of fortune and amplifies everything you see. But what it's telling you in this life, your purpose in this life is to be more fun and family minded. That's your true north node. Now your south node, you see Capricorn in your south node, you were more business minded, and you were working through network of people, friends, associates, but it was business. So when you saw your friends and associates, it was business minded. Where in this they're telling you to be more family minded, have fun with the family. That's your true north node. The other one is your south node. Now, sixth node is Leo, the leader. Again, fun. Everything in the fifth house, fun, adventure, childlike activities, taking risk. But it's in your house of service. So you're a leader in service. And like I said, if it was military, this would be a person that has some type of rank. Whether it's military or police or any type of service. But it's a leader, because your sixth house is about service and health, daily activities, children and animals, and again, healing, ruled by Virgo, which is feminine or motherly energy. But that's in your sixth house. Healing your Leo energy or your fifth house energy. And in your seventh house has Virgo. And remember, Virgo is very detail oriented too. But sometimes she can be viewed as being very critical. But she's all about healing and, like I said, service. So you're bringing that into your seventh house, that motherly, nurturing, maybe a little critical, but also healing in the home and the small animals and children and the health. So you're bringing that into your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. And then you have the vertex there. That crosses the vertex. That means you're going to have a significant meeting in this house, which is your relationship house. You're going to have a partnership, significant meeting, maybe a soulmate meeting, a twin flame meeting, or even a significant breakup. So that's what I did. As soon as I saw that, I looked right over to the other chart. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. But you still see the vertex cross in Virgo. So right away I would say there's a strong possibility they're twins, twin souls. Now, if you notice, because I didn't really want to look at this chart till I had to, but you see his Taurus is Saturn, which we'll look at a little bit more, 525. But that's what I'm saying. See, she has some type of fatherly thing going on. And then he's representing that, him being the Taurus. And that's the fourth house of family. And now he's got that Saturn going on. Because if you see Saturn in the fourth house, that's usually a father or some type of father figure. And see, in his fourth house, you see Saturn with Taurus. But that's what we've been talking about. Because Saturn can be somewhat of a disciplinarian. But until we get to his chart and really study it. But you can already see. So something's going on with that. Like I said, like my mother and my father's mother got along really good. Which is usually strange. Because a lot of times, a man's mother may not really be that close with his wife. Sometimes not. But I mean, even after my father was long dead, she was still visiting the family and looking out for that family and stuff. And some people don't. They move on. Because we weren't close. Like sometimes you'll have families where, oh, you're real close with your grandparents and all that. So that's why you stay in contact even after their son dies. Like my father. but we weren't close. And then the grandfather died too. So again, but my mother stayed loyal to her all the way up to her death. So these are soul families sometimes, and energy. And sometimes the man's wife will act a lot like the father's mother, but it's because they're soul families. So that's why I be trying to teach you how this energy really works. But obviously she has a problem with that fatherly, that Saturn type energy, and he kind of resonates with it, this guy. And that's why I say you got to make sure, I didn't say this is the first time I've said it, I'm surprised, but make sure you study the video called 8 Stages of Twin Flame Relationship. It's put out by a channel called DNA, because a lot of people want to talk about twin flames, but you don't realize there's stages to this. And there's going to be separation, there's going to be all kind of stuff. It's going to be so much pain. If it's really a twin flames relationship, it's going to be so much pain that you're going to be wondering why you even putting yourself through it or whatever. But that's part of the stages. So you got to make sure you know the stages. So when you see everything, you say, well, even though it looks pretty bad now, it could get better. And things like that. But you'll have a better, you won't be so shocked when it starts to go really, really bad. So you got to know the stages. Because this is not going to be like a typical relationship with anybody else. The twin flame relationship is all about breaking down, taking you to the dark side of the dark night of the soul, breaking you down, all kind of stuff, breaking you out down so you can be built back up. All right, give me just a moment, please. So again, Virgo's cool because it's healing, but just have to be careful because you don't want to be so attention to detail or critical, because people see it as critical. They don't see it as attention to detail. They see it as you constantly saying stuff and it gets on their nerves. Because I've been in a lot of people in my family are Virgos, and it can be too much. But they're good because, like I said, I would make my resume, proofread and everything. When I would give it to my mother, immediately she could tell me the typos and stuff. And I would be mad. I wouldn't want to give it to her. I'd be so mad. This is when I was younger. Then one time I made sure I double checked everything and everything. And as soon as I handed it to her, she still found the typo immediately. Now I'm not talking about like 5 minutes. Like as soon as she looked at it, and she did it repeatedly. So that's why I said some of your house placements, you got to be mindful of that, because you don't want that in a relationship. You don't want somebody that's being that precise with your faults or your flaws or things you could work on. You have to be very careful. Also got to work on how you talk to people, because people tend to get upset very easily. And then when you're in the fifth house, as long as it's fun, because that's the fifth house, fun, so it should be fun. All right. And all of a sudden you see retrograde, because we haven't seen any retrogrades on your chart yet till we get to the eighth house. So the eighth house is tricky, because when you're going to deal with the eighth house, you're going to deal with the fifth house again, because you're going to deal with sexual astrology, the fifth and eighth house. So you got to really make sure you understand that eighth house, and they did that on purpose, because you're gonna have Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde energy in your ninth house now with Scorpio. So that's where it gets down to the nitty gritty, and that is your ninth house. But the ninth house is where the relationship is supposed to mature and start to work on twin flame unity, overcoming the earlier Gemini stage. So your fifth house, eighth house, and ninth house have to really take a little time with it to see what's going on. And ironically, you got that Saturn retrograde right there with Scorpio. And remember that Mars used to rule Scorpio, but now Mars rules Venus. But you best believe that energy is still being felt. But now Mars rules is Aries. So these are all areas where it can be very emotional, but also you get into a lot. So I'm going to pause this for a moment, and when we come out, we'll take our time and go through all of this. Now, just to let you know, the 8th house works with your 2nd house in different ways, but it's a lot of stuff in the 8th house. And your 8th house has a 22 number with the moon, twin flame number. And there's going to be a lot of emotions there because the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, water sign, but then it's ruled by the moon. Still going to deal with your subconscious, your psyche. Going to be very, very intuitive. The moon rules Cancer. Very psychic person. Very intuitive. The moon used to rule Pisces. And that's your spirituality. So you're a highly psychic person, highly spiritual person. But your 8th house is going to all be about relationship and togetherness and partnership. And you want everything to even out. But the 8th house is very unique, is that it's ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So this is all about sex, obsession. A person can be doubting or the accusing type until a person proves himself. Then they can be very trusting. It's sexual. It's mysterious. It's secretive. It's great power. Great transformation. It's land and property. Graveyards. Karma, business, other people's property, other people's money, shared resources, inheritance. Esoteric, metaphysical, forbidden knowledge. Mystical knowledge, occult knowledge. Sex, lust, primordial sex, animalistic activities. Anything that's secret or mysterious. When Pluto is retrograde, it can deal with deep purging, deep cleansing. Ghosts, aliens, UFOs. Investigations, research, study, higher sciences, alchemy, holistic healing. Bringing everything I just named, you would see it as a together thing. Now, what Pluto retrograde does, it'll knock you out of power. See, because this is also the power struggle house. That's why it's kind of funny to have Libra there, because it can really be a power struggle house. Mars used to rule Scorpio, which rules the 8th house, but now Mars rules Aries. So it's still the same combative, aggressive energy to a large degree. And usually Pluto retrograde is going to take something away from you to force you to change. Pluto retrograde is going to attack you externally so that you'll change internally. So now you want to look at Libra and the 8th house. Okay, the one that's really stepping up to take this is darkpixieastrology.com. Give me a second, it's taking a while for the page to load. Okay, give me a moment, everything just wants to act funny. Eighth house, Libra in 8th house. You can gain improvement with your financial resources through a partner. You work well with a partner to invest and share the financial responsibilities. You try to be fair about who should handle what, and you're willing to compromise. You can transform because of or with the help of a partner. But again, you got to be honest, that's a highly sexual house, so it would definitely be like a sexual partnership. Or something, anything with sex. Moon in the 8th house. Your emotions can be intense at times. You may feel things quite powerfully. Your mind can dwell on the serious side of things. And if you have a sense of humor, it's probably sarcastic, dry, or dark humor, or morbid humor. Many 8th house moons have a tendency to put an enormous amount of emotion into sex. And for some, there's a strong emotional need for a fulfilling sexual relationship. Some may take this to the extreme, not engaging in real relationships and just going from one sexual partner to the next to some quest to complete themselves through sex, or even go down the route of sexual addiction. Because again, this is your addiction sign: drug addiction, obsession, alcohol addiction. For those who handle this well, you can use your sex in your relationship to further the emotional connection you have with your partner, rather than having it instead of the emotional connection. Once you do find someone, you can be incredibly loyal. You want to help people transform themselves and get involved in a cause to that effect. What's going on in this world right now is something you're always tuned in with. You may be good with money relating to your business or partnerships, though you'll have to be careful you don't use it to control or manipulate others. Because again, power struggles in 8th house, manipulation. All right, now just give me a moment. Now we just want to key in on that retrograde. Pluto retrograde brings change with fresh starts and dead ends. During this period, things we've we hang on to the most can suddenly be taken away, causing us to reevaluate what we value most. Change can occur through destruction and rebuilding, or rejuvenation and regeneration. Outside forces are at work as well, including government upheaval, weapons, and war. Change can often be difficult, and sometimes being forced into change is the only way to push some people forward in this life. If Pluto is retrograde in your chart, you face issues of control, feeling as if you must control all things in and around your life, often the extreme and at the expense of others, holding on to relationships so tight that they become suffocating to your partner, or holding on to past relationships, refusing to let them go and move on. So it might have been these two people that had that in the past life, just a power struggle, and they just carried it into this life. In a past life, you were probably ostracized from your family community or exiled from your home or country. You may have been a scapegoat for things you didn't do. To overcome these lessons, it's time to learn trust of yourself and of others. People are not out to get you in this lifetime. If you do allow the manipulation of others to affect you, you're letting them control your emotions and your actions. So you must learn to let the weaknesses of others slide off you. Don't give in to the grip. Don't give them the grip to hang on, and they'll be forced to find another to focus on. Use your knowledge and wisdom of the past as benefits to home of your instincts. Learn who to avoid and who to trust, and most of all, how to believe and trust in yourself. So there you have it. Now, we're going to do 5th house in Cancer, 8th house in Libra, but this is called sexual astrology. Sexualastrology.com. If Cancer is a sign in your 5th house, then love, sex, and dating will have a significant amount of emotion attached to it. You are not one to have casual sexual relationships without any feeling involved. Sex without love is difficult, if not impossible, since you're so vulnerable and sometimes guarded. With Cancer in your 5th house, you will be exceptionally protective and nurturing in love and any relationship, even a casual date, will bring out your motherly instinct. If Cancer is in your 5th house, you might fall in love more easily with a partner who shares your heritage and traditions, or someone who is interested in eventually raising a family together. Cancer in the 5th house must feel emotionally secure with a lover in order to truly let go and enjoy the pleasures of sex and dating. Now, Libra in the 8th house. With Libra in the 8th house, you'll strive to achieve balance in your sexual and intimate life. You might go out of your way to make sure that you both achieve orgasm simultaneously, since this could be an expression of equality in the most sexual sense. If Libra is a sign of your 8th house, you'll also feel turned on if your lover is graceful in bed rather than crash or dirty. Libra in the 8th house is gentle and concerned with a romantic approach to love and sex rather than a highly charged taboo encounter that you might be embarrassed to talk about in the morning. When you have Libra in your 8th house, you want a sexual relationship that meets you halfway and will likely voice your dismay if you feel anything less. You have a seductive yet intellectual way of asking for what you want in bed. Seductive and intellectual at the same time. That's amazing. That's like Steve Urkel having sex, not with Laura, but that other chick. What was her name? Myra or something? Two nerds. Okay. Now let me continue. Alright. Your name was Myra. It's so sad because there she goes. I was getting ready to say they say Steve Urkel and Myra, but I keep seeing all these pictures of Laura. Nah, it's her. It's Myra. Okay, I was wrong. They're all Myra, except for one. One of them is Laura, dressed up like a nerd. I'll show that one. In these pictures, they almost look a lot alike. I never noticed that when I watched that show. All right, and still, they're kind of implying that it's kind of weird what they're implying, but they're kind of implying you're going to have a Pluto, like an external 8th house Libra type situation. Because remember, Jofield showed up. That's Libra, and she said get outdoors. But you're going to have some type of Pluto retrograde external situation that's going to help push you into, because you need that 9th house, you need a Sagittarius energy because it's more mature. Otherwise, the two couples are going to keep, breaking up. So let's do Scorpio in the 9th house. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is Ninth House Astrology. That's the name. That's the name of this website. Oh, come on, man. All right. All right, so that's the name of this web. It just opened up. I didn't even want it to open up. It just opened up, and I didn't want to lose the page I was on. So. It's a lot of writing, but they never showed me what I asked for. All right, let's go back. Okay, so your ninth house is all about foreign countries, foreign travel, philosophy, religion. Anything that's alien, especially with Scorpio there. Anything that's alien, stuff like that. It's also like even like real high education. Scorpio in the ninth house, you were very emotionally invested in your spiritual, religious, and or philosophical beliefs. And you attract and or seek others who have an open mind to what you have to offer philosophically or intellectually. You want to teach others about power and control and how to wield it. And others will come to you because they believe or perceive you have access to the mysteries of the belief system of philosophy and questions. Be careful that this doesn't become something where you use your power and influence as a teacher or mentor to control or manipulate your students and to question behaviors or positions. If any house placement for Scorpio is inclined, it would be this one. Be aware of the power you have and how you choose to use it. Use it for the healthy wisdom of your life experiences to navigate your own course and your coursework for others. Here again, we must emphasize the need for the involvement of the Scorpion and intellectual pursuit of a higher nature, higher education. Scorpio here should be interested in philosophy, psychology, religion. There could be a tendency for dogmaticism, which Scorpio must avoid. There could be a tendency also for being very critical, judging others, not taking into consideration the differences of likes and dislikes and the appeal of different disciplines for all people. Since the ninth house is directly opposite the third house, it further emphasizes the need for Scorpio to communicate, but to communicate on a higher level. However, the problem might be that Scorpio might tend to communicate only on an abstract level rather than a practical, mundane level. Scorpio likes to research subjects. Dig, dig into and discover their essence. He then brings the results of this research to others for their enlightenment. All right. It is not easy for Scorpio in the ninth house to function from the Christ concept of harmony with others, and wisdom. It should also be remembered that Scorpio in the ninth house completes the third quartile of the we concept, the identification of self with all of life. So that Scorpio in the ninth house brings into the possibility of this completion of the self from the viewpoint of non-self, but not through a loss of self-identification. But you will suffer a loss of something because you got Pluto retrograde right there. So Pluto's trying to force your singular into more working with your twin. That's what's going on, especially in your 8th house and your 9th house. Give me one moment. Scorpio says, I desire. No, it's your 9th house. 10th house. So it's travel. It's definitely travel. So you would have a career in some type of travel. It could be culture, but it's definitely culture. It could be art, something foreign, and you make money there. And you see your nines. You got the nines all up in there. And you're somewhat of an idealistic. So even with this Sagittarius, you have the capacity to talk, like telepathy, because of Neptune. That's what Neptune does with Sagittarius. And then when you look at the chart, his chart, you see Sagittarius right almost close to the border where Neptune is. Now, whenever I see stuff like that, I kind of know that they're supposed to be closer or whatever. You just know, because we don't have the precise time. And even if you do, when you see it that close, you can kind of tell that his Neptune is probably a lot closer to Sagittarius as well. But either way, it's working with your Scorpio energy that we just got finished learning about, and the Sagittarius energy. And you would have a job in some form of travel, culture, philosophy, religion, anything that Sagittarius is about. But it's really showing you the when you two start to mature. And remember, it's Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and so now it's going to be money there. And these things can happen suddenly because of Uranus. But Uranus is also about like new technology, things sudden, and also somewhat of a freedom because your 10th house is ruled by Saturn, ruled by Capricorn, but Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn wants to keep everything standardized. But Uranus is going to oppose that. And Neptune is there to keep everything somewhat spiritual through Neptune and Pisces, but also idealistic because they call Neptune a deceiver because sometimes he's so idealistic he's not dealing with realism. So that's your 10th house. Now again, your 11th house, business. Using friends for business. But that palace deals with the ability to see patterns, but also the ability to help like minorities or children in need, women in need. So that's what your 11th house is about. Kind of like we call it social, because that's what palace is. She deals with social assistance for people. Now your 12th house is all about karma and endings, and there goes that Sagittarius, and that's what he is. Both on your ascendants. And see, this is how I know they twin flames. See, now her Juno says Sagittarius, and that's what he is. And her 7th house says, oh, you're going to meet somebody special with that Virgo energy. And then his 8th house says the same thing. And we've been learning about the Virgo energy and the 7th house. So yeah, they would definitely be twins. All right. But we still going to go back to Saturn retrograde in your 9th house. Now we definitely want Saturn retrograde in Scorpio. Otherwise, we just have to give you the definition. It looks like somebody's going to give it. Let's see. Transformations, new inventions in medicine, and political changes. It teaches you patience and perseverance. This is the period where you can reap maximum spiritual growth and move toward enlightenment, participating in philanthropic work or work for the oppressed people. And we already said that about your 11th house. This is the best time to revisit missed opportunities. Like I said, see, Gemini, you messed everything up. But that's anyone. When I say you, that's anybody. Now they're taking you to the Sagittarius energy to go back. And that's what retrogrades do. They take you backward internally. So this is where Saturn can show you the reality of life. Because like with mine, that's what it boiled down to. She was with all the drama, and I tried everything to talk to her. She was all the drama. Now, she may have felt she had justified in doing that, but it was just silly. But that's twin flames. So then when I would get fed up and move on, then she's following me or staring at me and won't take her eyes off me. So she's playing all these mind games. And I really, like, it's not a game for me. But it's like with females, you get a lot of that stuff. But it's not a game. Your emotions is like in there. Because I got that same cancer, motherly stuff going on. So you take it more serious. And they can play games and all that stuff. But Saturn retrograde shows reality in life. In other words, you fucked up. Because this guy really did care for you. You were the one being the jerk the majority of the time. And they got to deal with that. See, Saturn is like your father. He's going to discipline you with Pluto. So everything they stood on that they thought, I don't need him. I got this, I got that. Pluto retrograde will come in and knock that person on their ass and knock them off of all of that shit. Or they begin to see somebody they thought was there for them. They realize that person was never there for them. And they start to see shit differently. It's kind of like when you be dating a female and you try to show her how you feel, or you show some tears, and she's like, "Oh, he's weak. He's a punk. I need me a thug. This little weak ass." And she don't appreciate it. But then a thug beat her up, or some crazy rob her, or sleep with a sister or something, and all kind of crazy stuff. And everything she believed in, she comes tumbling down. And now all she can see is your tears and knowing that she fucked up. So that's what Pluto retrograde does. Fucks you up, shows you the reality. And then Saturn retrograde is disciplining. Like Pluto beat that ass, and then Saturn tell you what you did wrong, so that he shows you the reality of life. It says you need to be watchful about sarcastic speech, rash and impulsive nature, because that's what she was, rash and impulsive. And she talked a lot of stuff, but it was mostly behind my back. It is better to avoid making any hasty decisions, or to think carefully before taking any major life changing decision. So that's what Saturn is doing, is showing you, okay, you got to get your act together. Too much aggression, too much wanting to have things your way, too much selfishness, too much immaturity. All right, so we covered all that. So that Pluto retrograde in your 8th house with Saturn retrograde in your 9th house is going to teach you to deal with that Saturn energy a little bit differently, or that authoritative energy that we talked about, that was kind of like with Taurus and the 2nd house. All right, we're back. Now I'm hoping this thing was off. Pretty sure it was, because sometimes, like I said, the screen go black, and then I don't know, and I can't stop it, because I think I hit pause and the screen went black, because I was downstairs, and when I came up, I just hit the thing for the screen to go light. But sometimes it do that, and that's what it look like it is, because I see that the cursor's on pause. So hopefully when I hit that little button for the screen to come back up light, that's when it started playing, so that y'all didn't hear a dead space for a long time. Now something just hit this house, and I was trying to find what happened, and then I went downstairs, because even the people downstairs heard it. Then I looked outside, I couldn't see nothing. Oh, I know them little kids and little baby kids, the offspring, whatever. It's because it was a lot of them that night that took all the airs out the tire. But these are little kids. The ones that's out there right now is like little kids. So I don't know. But I couldn't see nothing. I tried to look to see if I saw anything. I couldn't see nothing. But whatever it was definitely was loud. And it definitely sounded like it hit the house. You know, the other person said they heard it. And they got trouble hearing, so I don't know. One of them things, boy. But let's get back. All right. And as you can see, so we did your 11th house as well. Oh yeah, so now we got the 12th house. Juno means you would end up with in a serious relationship with somebody who's an Aquarius, and that person's ascendant is Aquarius. So that's how you kind of know these are true twin flamers. Curious is a nurturer. Mercury means they're a good communicator. So we just want to do the 12th house real quick. We're going to do the 12th house, then we're going to explain Aquarius in the 12th house. All right. All right, we'll use astrologyclub.org for Aquarius in the 12th house. But this is Dark Pixie Astrology. It's going to explain the 12th house rules, endings, hidden things, confined things in your past life. And speaking, let me do one other website if she'll tell. I don't know if she will. Eighth and 12th house, sun, 8th house. The 8th house rules death because we're not asking about the 8th house, so we don't really want to talk about that again. The 12th house rules endings. Difference between the 8th house, death, and sometimes transformation, rebirth, or something like that. But the 12th house rules endings, where something ends to make way for something new. It's a clear the gutter house. Hidden things can be anything that's kept from others, usually referring to secrets. Confined places are anywhere that you are contained, like prison or hospitals. If you have planets in this house, the energy ruled by them tends to be hidden. If you have a personal planet here, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus, you have Mercury, you tend to feel misunderstood. The house is ruled by Pisces and Neptune and is a cadent house. So you may feel like you communicate, but you're not understood in this house. That might be a feeling. But this house just deals with karma as well. Karma, secrets, still deals with animals. Deals with really dysfunctional behavior. Can be prostitution, mental institutions, mental wards, things like that. And we're going to find out why Aquarius is in this house. So we're not saying this is the case because I don't really want to agree with that. But they said if you have Mercury in this house, you may feel understood. So you may feel that you do try talking to this Aquarius and they don't really get you, or you feel misunderstood. And just to let you know, Lilith retrograde keeps everything in, but she'll blow up. She'll just blow out sometime. And sexually speaking, like she may just do anything weird. Like if the sex is really good, she might scratch the guy's back up. She might yell. She might smack the guy. But Lilith tends to keep a lot of her feelings inside, and that's not good. All right. just looking at something. So it says when you have Lilith in the 12th house, you thirst for freedom, but you feel deeply controlled by the world around you. So again, feeling misunderstood. On the inside, you are strong, powerful, and have an almost primal energy, but your tendency is to hide this part of you, pretending to fit within standard socialization and gender roles. If you are a man, you may find that you draw strong, independent partners who resist intimacy and don't conform to traditional gender roles. You may feel victimized by the kind of woman that you draw into your life and find it challenging because you desire to be dominant and be dominated all in one breath. Masculine and feminine energies lies within all of us. So with Lilith in the 12th, you likely draw relationships that involve power struggles, particularly in relationships to sexuality. But he said, if you are a man, but that just described what we just got finished reading. So that's why I said sometimes, you can't just limit. Additionally, Black Moon and Lilith in the 12th house represents a deep primal connection to nature and a deep understanding of the ecology of the planet. But that's why Libra came, because these people do have they have a Scorpio Libra thing going on. And that's why Joe Fiel showed up when we asked for the time. And Joe Fiel said, get out in nature. Get outdoors. All animals fit somewhere on the food chain, and you make peace with the brutality of nature. You understand that pain and suffering are a part of life and that you have a great deal to learn from them. You are connected equally to light and darkness. You overcompensate in light by hiding your darkness, depending on the course on the rest of your chart, which results in coming out in inopportune moments. In the recesses of your mind, you want to understand the darkness, and you instinctively know that there is much to be learned from it. So the dark moon Lilith in the 12th house shows some form of castration or frustration, frequently in the areas of desire, a powerless of the psyche, or a general inhibition. On the other hand, it shows where we question ourselves, our lives, our job, and our beliefs. So with Lilith retrograde, you may feel understood. You may feel like you're reaching out to this Aquarius. You're not being understood. But again, that's why I said earlier, it's going to be communication. Sometimes that could result in professional communication. Because some people just put up with it, or they keep breaking up and making them up. it's a stage, and I don't mean no disrespect, but in third dimensional, it's just so many people, they don't want to press on to maturity. And even when you read the Bible, Apostle Paul was telling the congregation, you have to learn how to press on to maturity. Like you're staying at your babies, you're still drinking milk. And he said by now you should be eating a full meal and you're still drinking milk. So that happens a lot. And unfortunately, people get upset when you bring that out. But honestly, when you see the bigger picture, it's just common sense. If me and this person have trouble communicating, then we need like a professional. As long as a professional knows what they're doing. Because I wouldn't waste my time. Why make the situation worse with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing? So that's what's going on with that, but you still wouldn't know why Aquarius is in the 12th house. You are influenced by groups and collaborative efforts, and that would be with your twin, probably collaborative efforts. You perceive as compassionate and sensitive to the survival of the world and its creatures. You are also likely to look and utilize technological advancements for ways to make positive differences in the world around you. With Aquarius in the 12th house, you may be very sensitive when it comes to your awareness of group dynamics or collective energies. You pick up on everything around you as it is your own, and this may get you lost in a group's energy. You may lose yourself in the process of being of service to others. That said, people with this placement are usually the introverted, misunderstood, artistic type. So that's the second time they said that. You feel misunderstood. But again, keep in mind, because his ascendant is Aquarius, you might feel that way in general concerning people and groups, but you feel that way specifically regarding him, according to the chart. You may notice that you tend to shun certain, and that's why I think that's why you get so upset. It's really defensive with the finance stuff in the second house, because it's almost like you're ready to blow. If you make up your mind that you want to buy something, like he should just keep his mouth shut, because he's looking for World War III. So that's a person that's misunderstood, but we said it had something to do with father issues. See, in the 12th house, it's like it's when everything really comes out. It's the ending, and the 12th house can be about purging too. You may notice that you tend to shun certain aspects of society and its norms in order to keep your unique individual expression pure and true. You may not want to be tainted by popular culture, or you may seek a way to make a mark on pop culture through your creation or participation in a secret society beneath or beyond it all. If it is this position of Aquarius that can most certainly align itself with universality. Aquarians are always advocating and searching for cosmic consciousness. Here's where Aquarius can accomplish it. This is the fulfillment house and the quartile of fulfillment, and Aquarius can fulfill itself through humanitarian activities of a spiritual nature. Here is where the Christ consciousness of harmony and wisdom would be emphasized most by Aquarius. The cosmic responsibility of the sign of Aquarius in the 12th house is to be deeply and sincerely involved in spirituality. But it must not be an intellectual concept. It must be a working concept. There must be the selfless service to humankind and mankind. Spiritually, the compassion and understanding about would be emphasized here rather easily by Aquarius in the 12th house, since this is the part of their basic nature anyway. They must realize that the principle of humility applies to them also, and be aware that the laws of karma apply to them as well as to the rest of mankind. A caution would have to be stressed here for the Aquarian. Being an extremist could become too extreme in his spiritual endeavors. He could be the spiritual do-gooder. There is nothing worse than a good doer, gooder in the world on any level. Leo has an overt ego. It is easily recognized. Aquarius has a covert ego. It is there just as well. And it's funny because right now me and an Aquarius are in a dispute right now. It's so funny. But it is not as easily recognized, and this is further emphasized by Aquarius in the 12th house, which brings in the subjective or the introvert. And if this ego, it is this ego that must be set aside to join the universal life. But I think they're really talking about him. I think he has I haven't seen his chart yet, but from what I'm seeing, he kind of has he means well. He has a do-gooder thing, and she's caught up in it. And plus, whenever somebody thinks, well, I'm a little older than you, so I know more, and that could be true, but that's not always true. But you still have to learn how to talk to people. All right, I want to see something. All right, give me a moment. I'm just going to do this really quick. Come on. All right. So sometimes people have to become stronger. Sometimes you can pray to God for strength, to ask angels to help you. But sometimes it's easy to put up. If the guy is a little too aggressive and you just wish he calmed down, sometimes you have to make him calm down. And women don't want to they don't want to push because they know he's going to get mad or whatever. But too bad, that's part of learning. If you really understand astrology, it's part of learning. And you're supposed to help him, he's supposed to help you and work together. But sometimes it may not be like, hey, let's work together. It's more like an argument. But if you're helping that person get to the next level, and it's one of them things, and it's not an argument thing, because I would always say to my twin, I don't want to argue with you. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to work this out. So it's the way to talk, but it's just like some people, they just need whatever to grow them up, because everybody's on this planet's crazy. everybody's going through some type of healing for whatever reason. And unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. But that's why you just got to be a little stronger emotionally and just work with the universe. Don't take it personal. But sometimes a person will leave and, you know, I'm not getting back with you unless you do this or we do this together, get counseling, whatever it can be. Because it just seems like the chart on the left, it's a communication issue. It's an issue where she really finds her value in herself and everything in the second house. And she's ready to defend it with that Mars. She ain't playing. And it's also a spiritual thing for her too, because Vesta's there. Both in number 4. So if anybody comes in and tries to get her to do it a different way, she's not going to do it. She's not going to readily do it. And then again, with that whole seventh and eighth house, it's still dealing with that Saturnian energy. And that's Saturn and Capricorn. But the 8th house is connected to the 2nd house too. But Saturn tries to stop you, usually. And if you feel somebody's being an authoritarian, whether they are or not, if you really don't want to put up with it, that'll make you rebel too. But the mistake is when you start to go internal, because that's a person that's going to do something, and you'll never find out about it. And then if it does get found out about it, it's only going to make matters worse, because you're going to be like, oh, this person carried on a 3-month affair with somebody else. And the only reason why I found out was this reason and that reason. I just happened to have their phone one day, and the phone rung, and guy on there talking about, hey, baby, how you doing? Like, baby, who is this guy? So now you know. And now you're like looking at this person like, I can't even trust you anymore. And then that person's trying to act like they're really sad or whatever, but you're not really sad. You're only sad because you got caught. And now the reality starts to hit in like, wow. And now you're sad because, oh, wow, you know, he's not talking to me. He doesn't trust me. So it goes on and goes on. But that's what I mean about we got to go past that. We got to get past that childhood stage. And that's why I said a lot of people run their mouth, but I actually do the things I do. That's the difference. I got problems just like everybody else, but I don't handle mine like no little ass kid. That's the difference. And what my twin will have to realize, if she's ever going to get to where she needs to get, is we got to talk. We got to get through this. It's not easy. You want somebody to just love you. Like some women want that up front. But a real guy's not just going to love you. Like I knew, because I used to be that way when I was young, and girls didn't take me seriously. When I say girls, any females I was with. But I'm just a natural Leo, so I'm just a loving person. So if I showered them with love immediately, they thought, oh, he's trying to buy my affection, or they thought he can't be real, he just met me, and already they already kicking me under the bus, and I'm trying to be the great. I think I'm being a great guy, but now I realize that's kind of true. If you just meet somebody and they're just naturally, oh, let's do this together, I want to do this for you, it does make you think they're trying to bribe your affection. So it does take time. But now I meet somebody and they're like, wow, he's too reserved, or he's too cold. Yeah, because I'm not doing that no more. You know, just like there's like the earlier females wanted me to be a certain way. Oh, if you want me to take you seriously, you have to act differently, or you got to earn my whatever. So now I kind of say the same thing. Let's take it. Let's go slow, and let's find out what's going on. So if they don't even want to take those first steps, you want somebody to unconditionally love you, but all you're going to get is a guy that bangs you out, and when it really comes time for him to make commitment, he's not really going to do it because it's moving too fast. And that's what happened. She met a guy that got her pregnant on numerous occasions, but never gave her a ring. Now that was like a year ago. I don't know what's going on with her now. I haven't seen her. But that's how it goes down. So it comes a point when you have to grow up. If you got you're dreaming about this guy, the universe keeps putting this guy next to you. So you see all the signs that this is something special. And even a guy even tries to tell you we're twins. Or you see this guy trying to talk to you, but you keep being an a-hole. Whether it's a female or a guy. So you got to get past that. That's the growing up stage. And I'm going to be totally honest. And if the person can't get to that stage, I wouldn't fuck with them. Because you're going to mess your whole life up. You're going to mess your whole life up waiting for somebody who doesn't care about you the way you care about them. And that's why they can go out and sleep with other people. Lie about you behind your back. Get you fired. Never stand up and say, hey, you know, he's not a bad guy. Because at least right now on TV, it's a situation happening with this white female and this black guy. They were on a show. I don't know, Bachelor show was. I don't know what the name of the show is. I don't really watch TV, but I see it when I go to YouTube, Yahoo News. So something happened with them when they were both over drinking or something. So they was both in the water, and there was a lot of rumors going around that something happened and he did something. And because he was a black guy, it was naturally assumed that he just went too far. He Jim Browned her. For people who know who Jim Brown is with Raquel Welch. He Jim Browned her. So it went on for a while, but then, he really was adamant that he didn't do anything wrong. And he said, his mother was looking at him, and his mother was crying, and he said he was crying because he didn't want his mother to think of him like that. And he really, he emotionally took it. So I don't know what happened between them, but the female finally, white girl, started saying he didn't do anything wrong, and she started taking up for him, which a lot of people don't do, because a lot of women would just sit there and play the victim role, even if they're lying. But she came up, she stood up, and she said, no, he didn't do anything. He's a great gentleman, and he didn't do anything wrong. And she really started, advocating him. Like, no, I don't want to see this guy, not be able to get jobs or treated differently because he didn't do anything. So she took up for him, which was really good because a lot of people don't do that. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes that caused that to happen. But then they had a public appearance at a club where they were, hugged up, and she, jumped up. Like, how females will jump up on a guy and he's holding her up. So everything looked good. They were all happy for the pictures, like it was all behind them. And that maybe that was more recent. I don't know which one was more recent. But then they had a reunion of that show, and he was still acting like indifferent, and she was acting like, let it go, it's over. So she was more like, in my opinion, more honest with it. She's like, whatever happened, it's not as bad as they're making it. I don't want to see this guy not be able to get work or anything because nothing happened. So she really took up for him, what she didn't have to do. So it's taken him a while to adjust to it, but then I saw them together at a club. Like I said, they were all hugged up and everything. So he's got to get past that. He's got to get past that. Like, stop acting like you're so much of a victim. Y'all both did it. And at least she's woman enough to admit it, because a lot of women would have kept playing the victim role. So that's it. It's about growing up at the end of the day. And that's what all this twin flame stuff is about. So people are running all over the internet trying to get answers. The answers is both of y'all got to grow up. And I always said the best thing you can do for your twin is tell them that you are twins and where they can go, the internet, to find out more information. Because believe me, they're having the same dreams you're having. They're having the same thing you're having. But they have to make a decision to do something seriously about it, not play games. Because this is emotions. And guys like me, I stopped dating a long time ago. So it's not, I'm not even into that stuff no more. I'm busy doing what I do. I don't have time for like the silly stuff in relationships. It's just too basic. It's too childish. So they'd have to want that. They'd have to grow up. Because if they can't do that, why should I take you seriously? You don't want to talk when I'm talking to you. You want to play games. Why would I ever take you seriously? So she'd have to grow up. And that's the only thing. People make you seem like, oh, if you did this or if you did that. But you're not listening to what I'm just saying. I've done that. It never works. It has to be both of us. Not just me pursuing somebody that's going to keep turning down the pursuits. Because that's what's going to happen. It's got to be both people that want it. And then that's when you see a difference in any relationship. Once both of them realize we both have to work. That's when you see a difference. Now, as you see, his true north node is Pisces. She's a Pisces. This is how you know these are definitely twin flames. There's no doubt in my mind that these two people are twin flames, twin souls. All right. Now, this is how this works. So everybody understands. Plus I got to do something. Give me one more second. All right, I'm going to stop this here. And for me, for my audio, because once it starts getting close to 3 hours, I got to be careful because one time it went past 3 or something and then the audio didn't record. So I want to make sure everything records. So I'm going to stop this audio, make it part 1, and then start a new audio and make it part 2 for me. But for you, it'll sound like the same. I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm going to fully explain, just so everybody understands. Now on the left side, we spent lengthy. We talked about all the symbols, what they meant, how it ties in with the chart. We talked about the 12 houses, what they stood for, and things like that. So, of course, when you get to the right side, you're not going to explain that information because you've already explained it on the left side. What we will explain is what's going on in each house. Now, when you get to his first house, he is an Aquarius. So he loves to get information, can be very innovative, and wants to help people. And he's also Uranus is his ruling sign, so he may do things suddenly and not understood. And he's also a nurturer with the Curious asteroid. Ascendant just means where the sun was at when you were born, over the horizon. And east point is just another location of the sun when you were born, the east point. So he's going to be very forward motion Aquarian. He really wants to help people. He wants to be enlightened. And they say, I know. So they always want to act like they know more than somebody else. And that could be difficult, like I said, if you are trying to communicate with somebody and they just have an I know approach. So, but like I said, I just watch what people put their energy into. Like a woman might put her energy into putting whatever you want to call it on their eyelids. It's really, cosmetics. It's not really paint, but it's cosmetics on their eyelids, and they want to match it with something on their pants or something. Or they got eyelashes and taking forever. The fingernails got to look a certain way and manicured or however you do it, or fake nails or whatever. Some people might even put things in their eyes and match with something else, and their glasses got to match something. Then their lipsticks got to go on perfect. And then the earrings, and then their hair has to be. So they spend all this time on this vanity. But the point is, you could spend some of that time on communication. Because when you really want to talk see, people think because you say twin flame is going to be different. It's worse. It's harder than the other relationship. Because you're kicking in with a person, y'all can't even get past talking to each other and stuff. Like, if y'all could get past all that foolishness, you probably would have unbelievable love. Like, they be drawing pictures of people turning into fire, holding each other and shit, making love. It probably could be that way if y'all got past the third dimensional bullshit. But most of them are too, intimidated or too weak to get past the third. They're too busy hurt or trying to heal or whatever. They don't get past it. Whereas you could meet somebody else and you have a better relationship. But I know for a fact, soulmates usually have way better relationships than twin flames or twin souls. Because the twin souls got to learn how to trust each other. This is a sacred union, a relationship. We can't just be treating it like it's garbage. I can't treat you like garbage. You can't treat. It takes a lot more maturity and stuff like that. So whenever you're dealing with any signs like I know, that means, oh, I know. I don't need nobody to tell me. Or I am, that's Aries. I am. It's all about me. I am. So you got to really get those. Especially with Libra, you got to get the we. Work together. Let's communicate. Let's have a real conversation. Not in a relationship. So now his true north node is that Pisces energy. See, he's more, and this is, like I said, this is where the problem would be. Because he's more like, hey, we got money and can I contribute it somewhere? Or it's going to be something that has to do with a spiritual or a psychic or a religious. But his money is around that. That's where he puts his value in. Let's help the kingdom. But she don't see it that way. She's like, I want to go shopping. I want to feel better about myself. So his true north node is in the Pisces type of area. And then his south node was the healer. And see, when you see his south node, you see Virgo like her. So that's kind of implying they had a past life together. Because both of them got Virgo with the vertex cross. Then his third house, again, you got that aggression there. But, so it's her. See how his Chiron is retrograde? Because that means you're hurt and it's hard to heal. But that's because of that Aries aggression. The Aries aggression is like, I'm going ahead, I'm going to do this my way. You're not going to tell me anything and blah, blah, blah. But we already learned that was some type of daddy thing going on. And you can see it. Because as soon as you go to the fourth house, family, there's Taurus, which is where they were having issues before, and Saturn. See, when you see that Saturn in the fourth house, it's usually the fatherly figure, because this is the family house. Alright, so this says astrologybitch.com. First time I've ever seen this website, but I'm looking for retrograde Saturn in Taurus. Well, he guess what this guy says it. So this message was especially meant for you and your twin. This is astrologybitch.com called retrograde Saturn. He says in my natal chart I have a retrograde Saturn in Taurus in the 4th house. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And I've never seen this website before. So this is when you know the spirit is trying to tell you something. There is also an well, we don't want to read that because I might have. They say that this aspect can be sadness, melancholy, difficult tasks, and inhibitions. Most of them were accurate, but at a potential level. I admit I had some inhibitions and also some very difficult tests during my life, but I don't think I'm the only one. Everybody has those at some point. Saturn in Taurus is an extremely careful observer of your general wealth. And that's why I keep telling them. Wasn't that the problem? That money. Ever since I was out of high school, I was very dedicated to work. I had this need of being on my own, independent. I started to work from the first day I was out of home while doing my studies. I was disciplined and ambition to work. Slowly, in the last 20 years, I've accumulated far more than I ever imagined. During this period, I was rather melancholic and modest. Although I had some money, I was always shy in spending it. See, I told you she had Saturn issues because you're not going to tell her what to do in the 2nd house. She's ready to go to war. That's why I said, if they use the same passion to communicate and make their relationship work, they would get better results. But they use it for other things. And when I say they, I mean anybody. It could be a woman with vanity, but it could be a guy with something too, sports or something. They got all the energy in the world for something they really love to do. But when it comes to a relationship, all of a sudden they get dumb. And like, well, if this is going to be a problem, I'm giving up. I don't need this shit. But like something else that they love, they're not going to give it up. And we have friends that do us wrong, and we forgive our friends. Our friends will do us dirty, we'll forgive them. But the person we're in a relationship with will mess up a little bit, and we want to cheat on them or don't talk to them no more or break up with them. He said he had a difficult time adjusting to a wealthier lifestyle, a new house, a new luxury car. He said, but I did it. So the interpretation is you may feel it will be difficult to acquire wealth and financial security. But if you stick to it, you'll do it extremely well. They say don't just see Saturn as a test maker. Saturn is also a reward maker. He said if you remember that, Saturn is the best thing that can happen to you. He said, but you just have to pass the test. Now he says retrograde Saturn in the 4th house is associated with roots, parents, and family, and the sense of older members of it. Again, that older man. And that's why I said your family is not always the family you were born into. Sometimes it's the person you're in a relationship with. Having Saturn there was a difficult situation, especially when I was a child. I always had this feeling of being not loved, of being ignored, or having too many restrictions. It was not a feeling, it was a reality. Because that's what Saturn retrograde is going to do. And that's why she's having issues on her chart. I had a difficult teenage period, far more difficult than any other teenager. Now I'm complaining and making it bigger than it was. Another Saturn effect. But it served me well. I developed inner stability and independence. Another aspect of my chart favored the choice of unfit partners in my love affairs. It was a karmic aspect, something I expected to do in this lifetime. Every love affair I was involved in had a deceptive aspect, usually extremely powerful. Saturn in the 4th house made it easy for me to find inner stability. After each of these experiences, I grew up stronger and wiser. I even have a glimpse of the current development of my potential relationship. Thanks to the experience transcended by Saturn, I can predict that I am attracted to troublemakers and I know how to avoid that. And I can spot fruitful relationships and pursue them, but with the sense of discretion and diplomacy that Saturn imposes. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You learn. If my earlier life I was Mr. Leo loving every blah, blah, boom, and all I got back was bullshit, 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 you're not going to keep doing that. And I don't care who they send. You're not going to want to do that shit no more. And if she's right away, she's already, oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't notice that, he didn't notice that. What type of guy is that? Yeah, because you want something that you're not entitled to. You just met me and you're already making demands. And that's how my twin was. And then when she couldn't get him, then a whole dark side of Lilith came out, and Aries and Scorpio, they all came out. Endless energy to destroy and lie and do all kind of crazy stuff. Sleep with another guy, come walking in the building staring at me. And I already know what's up. Like with your twin, you know, like when she was pregnant, I knew. It's your twin. You just know this shit. So that's how she got her best, trying her best to destroy me. So she would need to do a whole lot of growing up. A whole lot. Because that's going to be the first step. There was no communication because she acted like she didn't want it. He says it was hurtful, yes. So it can't be communication until she grows up. It was truthful, yes, he said. This is him talking. It was truthful, yes. It was hurtful, yes. It was, and sometimes still is. But I have the power to endure and to learn. I am grateful that I was exposed to such difficult situations and experiences, because out of those experiences are coming my best life lessons. So that's why I said you got to go the way the world, the experience you have. Because people are always going to disagree with you, and they're never going to see your side until they go through it or somebody they care about goes through it. Then that's when they're going to have compassion. But when it's just you going through it, talking about it, they're like, oh no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, do it this way. Oh, he's overreacting, blah, blah, blah. Until they're in the same situation and they see it totally different. All right. So that's Saturn in the 4th house. So that's why I'm saying it could have even been his dad. And now he's that way. It could have been something that made him that way. But he's kind of interjecting that energy into your house. And you got some issues too, which makes you go right into rebel mode. And that's going to keep you guys going into separation until you learn how to deal with it. Now we already know Gemini is all about communications and short travel and creativity and earlier education. But now the moon in Gemini, the moon is always going to affect your subconscious, and your emotions. And it's going to bring a nurturing type effect there and a feely type of effect there. And this is in the 5th house. So that's for the Gemini in the 5th house. All right. You are best entertained with activities which engage your brilliant mind. This person likes word puzzles, games, Jeopardy, etc. Anything that gives you an opportunity to prove how knowledgeable you are. Oh, that's kind of funny, because that's how Aquarius is. Aquarius is all I know. But yet this is Gemini in the 5th house, so he's still like Aquarius. Because he wants to show everybody how knowledgeable he is. So this is where this person finds the most pleasure. You'll also find pleasure in exchanging ideas and thoughts and obtaining information and knowledge. The fifth house is also about romantic relationships. Monogamy or long-term relationships may be a challenge for this person. Yeah, because you got to understand, Aquarius wants his freedom too. Unless you find a partner who keeps your mind actively engaged and entertained. You seek partners who give you more to learn about them, and through them, more to learn about yourself. The karmic responsibility of Gemini in the fifth house is being creative in a mental, intellectual way. Too often, Gemini might be intellectually involved in something or just intellectually curious. It is a sign of the natural seeker of knowledge. But just accepting knowledge for the sake of knowledge has no value. Knowledge must be expanded. They are generally the inventors of the world. And again, that's that Aquarius energy too. Now, inventions do not have to be relegated purely to material inventions. Thought in itself is an invention. Truth, like matter, is also becoming. Gemini has the responsibility in the fifth house of being creative in a mental way, developing the mind, bringing new ideas and new concepts to what is already known, not just accepting knowledge as it is and not going any further. So in the fifth house, Gemini is not just playing with knowledge. He's trying to learn that knowledge to make progress in the world. But now they want you to do it again. They want you to go to sexual astrology. All right, let me just look at this. Fifth, sixth, seven. Okay, so sexual astrology, Gemini in the fifth house, Virgo in the eighth. And give me a moment. What I find unique is this. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus and Saturn don't get along. So I don't know what would make this guy more Saturnian. That's really like funny. I don't know. I guess when it comes to his personal freedom, he's Aquarian. But when it comes to like household things or finances, now he becomes more Sagittarian. With Gemini in your fifth house, sex begins in the mind. Dating prospects must have the gift of gab in order to turn you on. If there's nothing going on upstairs, there will never be any love potential. If Gemini is a sign in your fifth house, there might be a tendency for you to date more than one person or have multiple sex partners. You might also be drawn into a casual love affair more than others. This is a dual sign and needs constant stimulation in order not to feel bored. A relationship that is open and accepting of your curious, sometimes flighty nature will be most appealing to someone with Gemini in the fifth house. Commitment is possible, however. The only way you'll remain true to one love is that if the person knows how to keep you on your toes. Above all else, Gemini in the fifth house will experience sexual pleasure when talking about it. Now, if Virgo is in your eighth house, then your approach to sex and intimacy will be cautious and discriminating. You will have an almost critical way to achieve sexual satisfaction and to please your lover, since you'll focus on the technical ways to make sure you both reach orgasm. The problem with this is that you might forget that in your efforts to be efficient, you're also taking some of the fun and spontaneity out of your sex life. With Virgo in your eighth house, you're a master at the sexual details, but remember not to overlook the bigger picture, intimacy, or actually having sex. If Virgo is in your 8th house, you might love to offer your services to your lover in other ways besides sexually. It might wind up giving a great deal of yourself in the process. One thing is certain, with Virgo in your 8th house, your lover will definitely need to measure up to your incredible standards. So that's why you could tell, that's why they got all that Scorpio 8th house issues too. So you're finding out in this natal chart, you're finding out really what could be causing not growing. They're not really growing the way they should grow. So they're telling you, they're showing you why. Okay, we have it again. Lilith is bordering over the 6th house to the 7th house, but we're gonna leave it in the 7th house. But that energy is being felt in the 6th house. So once again, now you got the Virgo about service. This is 6th house. 6th house is ruled by Virgo. Motherly, like motherly, Mary, and nurturing, still coming from that moon in the 5th house as well. So this is all about the service to the family, healing of the family, the home, daily activities. Small animals, children, subordinates, and our co-workers. So Virgo, this is in the 6th house to be healing, because we already know that there's some family issues going on. And then again, we already know that Lilith is going to keep it in. So the 7th house is Leo. So there is going to be romance, but you just got to be careful because Leo can't leadership. You got to be careful because in the 7th house, it's got to be in quality. But there is passion, fun, travel, childlike children, childlike ways, taking risks. And the investor is there to say, hey, be spiritual. Don't just love. Don't just have a love or romance, but make it spiritual as well. Make it have meaning. And then again, Lilith is there, feeling a certain way. But there might not be too much problems with Lilith in the 5th house, in the 7th house, because he's kind of making it fun. Unless somebody's trying to dominate, like take the Leo bossy like a Leo, or then Lilith might get upset with it. But also she's still dealing with the healing of the family as well in the 6th house. Well, I found out what hit this house. Them kids out there throwing a football. Now the funny thing is, this girl, cause she's tough. She reminds me of my older sister. My older sister was tough. These are baby kids. All right. So now, all right. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 8th house, we know everything that's in the 8th house. But again, with Virgo there, whole lot of healing. But again, it could be services. This person might offer services. Like he may actually help, which consider, but I'm just going to use the word, they just use the word dysfunctional. But they may help, like he may have healing, some type of spiritual healing or alternative healing, and all that's in the 8th house. But that's primarily what's going on there. And this is where he have his vertex cross. So this is where he would have a significant meeting or event. And you know it's going to be deep because you have Pluto. So this is like even like deep research with Pluto. Deep analytical skills, deep research. Like really going deep into the soul of the matter with people. And deep, intensive healing or research. And if you notice, well, he had that one, he only, so far he's only really had 2 retrogrades. And now in the 9th house, which is the house about maturity, it's all there. Good communication, great finances and expansion, love, beauty, harmony, that fun Uranus, advance, freedom, good relationship. So that did now on his chart, you could tell he's graduated from the lower third house, which is can't communicate, breaking up and separations. But Sagittarius energy is more mature. It's more about the couple getting together, and that's what you see definitely on his chart. So that's why I say you have to look at the charts and find out what needs to be worked on. Now on the left chart, it's definitely how they're responding. They got to stand up for themselves. Don't go inward. Don't try to hide, because it'll blow up in your face a lot of times. And I don't know, well, I kind of agree. If you say you're going to be in a relationship with a person, nobody's going to be perfect. And you may see some things about them you don't like, but you know, if you said you're going to be in a relationship with them, it is kind of wrong to just leave it. But if you've dated, or like it just comes a time when you tried and you get sick of it. You get sick of seeing the same shit, and it's like that. So that's really what it's going to be about. Will somebody put up with your BS, or will they not? And some people are saying, nah, I don't care who the person is. Because like I said, you grow out of that. It's like you just grow out of it. Like when you're younger and you've never had experiences, and you get sex, it's the greatest thing in the world, or you feel love, it's the greatest thing in the world. But once you've done it like 2 or 3 times, like that, who cares? It's not that serious. It's just like that. And you have some people that just work off lower energies. So they just need sex. It could be with this person, with that person. But as long as they get sex, they feel great. But everybody's not like that. Some people, it has to mean something. So each person is different is what I'm trying to say. And that's what it's going to boil down to. Some people say, listen, I could do bad by myself, and I'm not opening myself up to no more foolishness. So when you meet a female, she's got to kind of like have her act together. You're not looking for the typical female that wants to just be in everybody's face and all kind of Miss Sexy with everybody and all that. You're not looking for that no more, because you already did that earlier in life, and you know that's not going to go anywhere for a relationship. Now I might go somewhere because makes you feel good, and I feel I'm popular and everybody likes me. It'll go far for that ego, but it's not going to go far for that type of relationship. And then there's other people that don't have a problem with it for whatever reason. It's a healing thing. They don't have a problem with it. But some people, they don't want somebody. Well, if you're with me, you don't need to be all things to everybody. You're supposed to be exclusively to me. We're in a relationship. Some people are like that. Other people are not like that. So that's what it boils down to. Because where some people say, oh, he's too insecure. It might just be you're too open. You want to be in everybody's face. So I look at both sides of the situation, because it's supposed to be a relationship. And I feel like this, the moment people start saying stuff like that, oh, he's to this or he's to that, well, then maybe we shouldn't be talking in the first place. You know, it's like that. And you'll decide. Because I can meet one person that makes me feel totally different. Where I do want to be with this person, I do want to work things through. But I might meet somebody else and be like, hell no, nah, that's okay. This already looks like it ain't going to work. And they're looking at you like, wow, how is this just going to shut me down so quick? And I think that's how my twin was. But I was right, though. Just instinct. And we just read it. We just read it somewhere. Like that guy that was talking about his experience with Saturn, he said he's learned. You just learn. You just see the motions. And you're like, it's not like, young dude, you've been on this planet for a minute. So you've seen him come, you've seen him go. So you're not willing to let's not even talk. Especially if you're at my job. Because you're going to try to get me fired. And that's exactly what she did. So I guess a person's got to realize, what type of relationship am I in? And how does he respond? Because the fact of the matter is, you say, well, listen, this guy's not going to be telling me about money. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to set up my own account. I'm going to do that. But a lot of stuff he may view that as being very sneaky. And I'm not saying that he would, but he might say, well, if you're lying about this, how do I know you're not lying about other stuff? And then that person said to himself, well, if you weren't so overbearing, I wouldn't have to do this. But in a way, you should have told him that. Even if it was going to be an argument or whatever. Because the moment you start to cower and now you're going to do this sneaky, then you're going to do that sneaky, then Negative energy is going to bring you a guy that's way more understanding, and now you're feeling a certain way about this guy and getting closer and closer to committing cheating on your mate. That's why you have to communicate. Now see, he's got the number 222 right there with Karis. I just noticed that. And again, where his Saturn retrograde is, that's 525 because 25 got cut off. And he does have a lot of 25s on his chart as well. A lot of them, nice amount of them. And then 10. Now in the 10th house, you see this guy's he can read minds, because that's Neptune. Neptune and Scorpio, he can read minds, psychic ability, dreams. He can interpret dreams. He'll be able to have dreams with his twin, because that's his career. His career is totally psychic. Even spiritual healing, psychic healing, intuitive healing. And now in his 11th house, there's Sagittarius. And it could be long distance travels regarding friends, but it could also be internet. He could just be on the internet and just worldwide people are contacting him for guidance and help. But that's when you see Sagittarius. This is whatever groups, friends, groups, some type of long distance travel or long distance connections. That's his 10th house. In the 11th house, well, that's the 12th house. So he's going to be a serious-minded worker for those issues that we talked about, the 12th house issues. And Palace will always be, Palace is 77, but that's social issues or female issues, female defense. So he's going to really be a worker for that. And he may find himself in a relationship with someone who is a Capricorn, or someone who's a worker, Capricorn energy. And that's what he fights for. Like he's really fighting for the people that really can't fight for themselves. So as I said, like, you gotta let the chart speak. He really had no retrogrades. So that's why I told you. I knew he was special by that card. Those cards that came out. Hanael is one of the highest ranking cards. She's her, Michael, and Raphael, Archangels. They correspond to every card in the deck. They're the highest Archangels there are in this card deck, because they correspond to every zodiac sign, not just one. Jophiel, very important. If you notice, it was Jophiel that the Doreen Virtue put on the cover. I think the same card that came in is the Outdoors card. I think that's the same card that's on Jophiel's cover for the Archangels. Is on Doreen Virtue's Archangel card deck is Jophiel. Chamuel, all about spiritual soulmates, love. So I think what happens is just don't get to the point where, see, I agree with you. This is where women don't understand what I'm trying to tell them. You have every right to want your power and stuff like that. You shouldn't give your power to nobody. But when you're in a relationship, you do owe that person a little bit of honesty. And if you feel a certain way, you should at least be woman enough to tell them. And I'm only reading this as the chart is going. Because if the chart was talking to him, I would say it to him. But if you notice, he doesn't have too many retrogrades. And when he does, they're connected to the left chart. And see, Pluto was warning her that I'm going to bring you down. Because that's what he does. Just look it up. Now, if you don't believe me, look it up. You can go right. As soon as you hear this, you can go search engine, Pluto retrograde. What does that mean? Or whatever. Pluto retrograde. It means he's going to attack you internally to bring you down. It's cleansing and purging. Because what you're doing is making it difficult for the relationship. And they're trying to get you to the point where the relationship is great. and you realize this is your soulmate, and he wants to be there for you, but you can't keep handing this guy this third dimensional bullshit. I'm woman, hear me raw. You better not tell me how to shop. Who do you? I mean, I would have loved to have, I don't know if it's happened yet, but I would have loved to have been there the first time he tried to tell her about the second house. Because all of a sudden that little quiet chick turned to the Miss Psycho. Mars energy. Ready to duke it out. Like, who do you think? I'm not no little girl. You're not my father. You don't tell me what the... That shit was probably funny. So that's what I'm trying to say. Realize the seriousness of the situation, that the universe is trying to get all the twins together, but you have to make a choice. If you're not talking to your twin, why? Who's the reason? Have you tried lately to talk to your twin? Have you ever tried to just apologize, say, this is new to me, I've never had an experience like this, I'm so sorry, I just want you to know I would like to get to know you and whatever, I'm just hoping we can put the past aside. That's a step. Now the guy, like, if it's a guy like me, I'm gonna be like, wow, they finally are making some sense. She's not sounding like a little spoiled little brat no more. She's acting like she's trying to grow up. Now I can respect that. But I can't respect that stuff. And I don't care if you're an indigo kid, I don't care if you're a sensitive kid, but that stuff was way beyond wicked. And I'm sitting there saying, what did I ever do to you to get all this back from you? Now maybe it was something past life. You know, maybe I did. I don't know. But I'm talking about right here and now. What did I ever do to you to get you to be like this? And then you wonder why somebody didn't want to talk to you from day one. Even now, if you're coming back like that, I'd rather you don't come back. Because I can do bad by myself. So that's what's up. Each person's got to make their choice, grow up a little bit. Or you can try to, but what I'm trying to tell you, if you think you're going to do it your way, you already got Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde. Both about lessons and karma and learning. They're warning you that you better get your SHIT together. Otherwise, they're going to have to implement external things to break you down. And then while you're getting broke down externally by Saturn, that same energy you were trying to avoid, that Saturn energy that's trying to tell you what to do, that daddy energy, it's going to be trying to tell you why this has happened to you. That's like when LL Cool J overthrew cannabis and said, I did this to you. He got that from the movies. When you beat somebody up so bad and you look at them and go, look, I did this to you. Or, look what you made me do to you. I did this. So you don't want to mess with Pluto retrograde or Saturn retrograde because they got your number and they're letting you know they're definitely going to step in if you let your Lilith hiding stuff or not working it out with this guy, because you got to find a way to get his attention. The same energy you put into if you do this, all that eyeliner on and all that energy you put into to be just perfect, you got to start using that same energy to tell him, hey, listen, I really want to be with you. I know we're twins, but this is how we got to do it because I don't feel comfortable in these areas, and I am a grown woman. You're not going to talk to me like I'm a kid when I'm shopping and stuff, and we just have to learn how to work through this because I really want this to work. But I'm just being honest with you because I don't want to not be honest with you. Because if I'm not honest with you, then I'm going to hurt you because you're going to find out. And they're telling you, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Pluto and Saturn are warning you. Any secrets you got, they're going to expose it. Believe me. Best believe. So that's what's going on with these charts. Now, if anybody else is interested in any type of chart readings, twin flames, compatibility, it doesn't have to be twin flames. You might only just have your chart, but I can still do twin flames on it where I can see we're doing Juno. Like on this chart, you see Juno and you see that cross, vertex. You look at those areas. That's how you can tell. Her Juno is an Aquarius. He's an Aquarius. Her vertex cross is a Virgo. So is his. So you know these are twins. So any angel card readings I do, because a lot of times people say, well, you know, every time you do a chart, all you talk about is twin flames, because that's what's on the chart. If you want to go deeper with your chart, you're gonna have to get an archangel card reading because they'll take you deeper on your chart. They'll tell you what houses to look to and all that. But almost every chart you read is always going to be some type of twin flame chart. I think I've seen a couple that I couldn't see any twin flame, but that was very rare. Out of hundreds, I might have seen like one or two. And that might have just been a bad day. Who knows? But in order to come here, what was one has to break off into duality. And that's why you got your twin flames, twin souls. Numerology, name numerology, birthday numerology, anything that's intuitive or psychic, as long as it's with the archangel cards or your natal chart. Because I don't like to do that. I could do it if I wanted to. Like, I never really wanted to be a dreamer. But I can interpret dreams. If you gave me a dream, I could do stuff like that. But I never wanted to be like that type of psychic where you, oh, I see this or I feel that. I don't like to do that. I like to have some type of concrete evidence to show the person. So that's it. It's been a pleasure. God bless.